Welcome to the FARcast here at Chadron State College. We're here with Jordan Haas, but before we get to you, Jordan, I figure we ought to introduce ourselves. It is a new semester, a new series for the FARcast. I don't even know, what year is this, Alex? Did we start in 2019? It
was pre-COVID.
We started pre-COVID, which feels like quite a long time ago.
The olden days.
Yes. But anyway, I'm Daniel Binkard, and Alex is my co-host.
Yep.
And we got, Jordan Haas, an instructor with the math department. So, Jordan, I think we've been trying to get you on the podcast for a little while now, and we finally caught you.
Caught that big whale.
Yep, good to have you on.
It was good to be on. It's a fun thing that you guys do, and it's kind of a cool way for people to get to know Chadron. Maybe people that don't know the ins and outs of Chadron, like the people that you interview here. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you might notice Jordan looks a little wet on the shoulders here because we've got some rain. It's actually been a nice rainy summertime and getting a little bit of rain here in the fall.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy to walk through some rain.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, let's get right into it here. So, Jordan, you're probably a familiar face to a lot of people. You were a tour guide back in the day for admissions, so we're always glad to see you come on back. Anyway, so you grew up. It says here you grew up in Helmbrecht, and why don't you tell us a little bit about growing up? And let's see, you got 2 degrees from CSC. How'd that all work out?
I didn't want to come to Chadron State. Out of high school. It was just kind of close to home, and I didn't feel like it was, I probably should have gone on a visit, but I didn't. I ended up at National American University in Rapid City. I was studying athletic training, which is weird because then I married an athletic trainer. But during those practices where I'd be sitting, I kind of wanted to get involved on the coaching side of athletics. And one of the best ways to do that is to become an educator. So kind of thought, well, what was I best at in high school? I mean, everybody likes the PE and the history and all that stuff. And I was like, I was pretty good at math. And so I called Joe McLean, who I knew was doing math here. And I called Dr. Stack, who was my Legion baseball coach, and just kind of asked about the program. Ended up transferring to Chadron State. And then kind of what I tell people is that if you let Chadron get its hooks in you, like, you'll try and be a lifer here. I mean, you find a place in Chadron, and this place is hard to leave. And so, I went through undergrad math education and then stayed on right away. As soon as my undergrad was done, I was a GA for the math department. Worked for 2 years there, got my master's, and then took off back down to Helmbrecht.
Right.
So, continue?
Sure, yeah. Do we have a little bit more here? Oh, well, that gets into our next question here.
Yeah. So you mentioned, you're from Helmbrecht originally, and then so you went to Helmbrecht, and for our listeners who may not be aware, Helmbrecht's about 45 minutes away from Chadron. So you graduated, you had your master's degree, and so Helmbrecht hired you as activities director or math?
Yeah, so actually back it up a little bit. While I was doing my block, my professional year of education right before I went to student teach, Helmbrecht needed a football coach. And so I kind of threw my name in the hat and said, I would be interested in doing that. And I got hired as the co-head football coach with Randy Heemstra, who's been around the Panhandle and coached a lot of sports, Helmbrecht and Alliance, and he's at Hyannis right now. Hired us as co-head coaches, and so I was co-head coach at 21 years old while I was finishing college, learning from Randy. So I coached, and then while I was the math GA here, I was also coaching in Helmbrecht at the time. So I kind of already had my in. Mm-hmm. Tim Lonick was the AD at the time, and he was retiring right when I was finishing up with my master's. So it was kind of a transition into, hey, I have my master's in administration. I'm going to transition right into that activities director role at Helmbrecht, and then kind of teach some classes, do the AD thing, coach football. And so I kind of got my foot in the door earlier before I had even graduated with my undergrad.
That's great.
Yeah, it was kind of a perfect storm how it all worked out. And
you had some success as a football coach, right?
Yeah, we had some really, really talented kids. Basically, the hardest part of coaching was to get out of their way and let them do their thing. We won a lot of games. We were the state runner-up in 2013, state champion 2014. We won several district championships up until I came back to Chadron in 2020.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. What's the transition been like from the high school ranks, kind of on the administrative coaching side, now to teaching math?
So I had always taught math, and I taught math back in Hemingford too. And there was actually a transition time where I got out of being the AD, 15, 16, 14, I don't know. They kind of blur together at this point.
When you get old, the years just...
Too many birthdays, man.
Yeah.
So I was full-time junior high and Algebra 1 teacher before I came back up here. So I had been teaching math and the transition back up here probably wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have met my wife or re-met my wife and started that relationship. She was working up here as an athletic trainer. Dr. Stack had been reaching out the last couple of years saying, hey, there might be a position here. I think that it would be a good fit for you. Are you interested? And I just kept saying, no. You know, I'm still enjoying Hemingford. I still want to coach football. I love this town, and this is where I grew up. I really like coaching. I really like coaching football. So no, thank you. And then when Lisa was working up here, it made it a little bit more challenging to watch her drive back and forth to Hemingford. Armac road trips, get home pretty late at night, and so she would try and drive back, or she would stay on somebody's couch here, and so that made the transition. There was an open position here. I applied. They hired me, and so now we're here.
Yeah.
And we moved up here in 2020 and started our lives in Chadron, or restarted our lives in Chadron.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Currently you're working on your doctorate. So tell us a little bit about that process.
It's a process, for sure. Right now, my program is Louisiana Monroe, and they're all 8-week classes. And so I am through with 10 classes out of 15 total classes in the coursework section. I'm in class 11 right now, and it's done October 10th, but who's counting on that one?
Every single day, right?
Yeah, a couple more weeks left of that one. Then it'll be 4 classes left. I go comprehensive exams in the spring, which is a big process. You basically get 4 topics to write approximately 10-page papers on each of those 4 topics, and you get 2 weeks to do it. And then once your committee has reviewed your writing, then you orally defend. And so
should be fun.
It's for a math guy to write that much. It's kind of
no stress at all, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a different world. But I've got one thing is that you become a much better writer.
Yeah.
I mean, when you practice something, just like anything, when you practice it and do it a lot, you become a lot better. And so I feel comfortable. I'm a little nervous. It's kind of crazy. It seems, I kind of tell people that in the doc program, it seems like the total classes go faster than the individual weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're stuck in a grind and trying to make it to Friday to turn everything in, just to turn around and do it again on Monday. And then you look up and you're like, oh, well, that class is done. So that wasn't too bad.
That works.
Yeah. At least that's what I keep lying to myself, keep telling myself that.
Well, and the nice thing is you have a sympathetic partner, because Lisa's also going through her doctoral program, so you guys can complain together.
Yeah. Lisa just got done with her 3rd class.
Okay.
So she just started in January, just got done with her 3rd class. I'm a little jealous of her process because she doesn't have to do comprehensive exams at the conclusion of her coursework. She just goes straight into her doctorate. And then she has 4 classes designed to help her write her doctorate.
Oh, that dissertation.
The dissertation, excuse me.
Sure.
Yeah, where when I get done with my coursework and my comps, They just say, write us a dissertation. We'll see you in a year.
Lovely.
Yeah. I mean, we have committee members, and they call it a major professor, but a committee chair that we can reach out to and kind of collaborate and get some ideas. But I'm a little jealous of Lisa's program because she has a lot more direction in her dissertation.
Well, it's probably not one of those things you want to put off for 9 months and then work on it for the final 3.
No, you'll be fine. Don't worry about that.
You can probably go 10.
No, my goal is so my last class, I'll take comps in the spring, and then I'll take one more class because they don't offer comps in the summer. I'll take one more class in the summer, and then my goal is to start that dissertation, start a next school year, and hopefully hammer it out during the school year.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I kind of have a 2-part question. So this will be your second year teaching in the Math Science Center of Innovative Learning. How's that facility kind of assisted you with your teaching and how you interact with students? And also, how do you kind of make math fun? Daniel and I have had an opportunity to sit in on one of your classes for a photo shoot, and I took from it that you made math really fun. So talk a little bit about your teaching style.
I'm glad that you took that from the class.
Students agree with that?
Yeah, maybe they don't.
Maybe look at my evaluation forms from the students.
We should have a hotline they can call in or something.
So the first part of your question about the coil, that building is awesome. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's really, really, and the technology that we can use. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to get into, we have one room that has a multi-taction board, and I haven't taught a class in there. And I haven't had a chance to really play with that board, but I think that you could do some really neat things with that.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully when I'm done with this doctorate program, I'll have a chance to get in there and make some really cool things. So that building is awesome. But, kind of what I've said, and I can't remember if this was for the Alumni Magazine or something like that, but I told, I think that Chadron State College is about the teachers and the professors, that I think we have a really skilled group of instructors and teachers and professors. And honestly, those people could teach people in a cave. They could come down to a studio and do a good job of instructing students and getting students to learn. So I think Chadron State is more about the people than it is. And I maybe shouldn't say that. We had a $31.5 million building that's brand new. It's awesome, and it's a great tool. But if we don't have the people that can utilize that tool, then it's just a big building. And so I think that we have a combination of math people, of science people that do a really excellent job utilizing the technology, and it's going to be an attraction for math and science students across the area to come to Chadron State College.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Part 2 of your question, how do you make math fun? I think that, maybe it's just me, but I think that it's more of an energy thing. I like to have fun. I like to joke around and get people to kind of loosen up a little bit, especially in the math world. There's a lot of math anxiety. A lot of people have been told for a long time that, hey, you're not, math just isn't your thing. You're not very good at math. Or kids start to believe, hey, I really struggle with math, so I'm just not good at it. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that anybody can learn anything, and especially math. We just got to find the right way that your brain works.
Sure.
And the right way of explaining things. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 different methods to try and explain a certain concept or topic to somebody before. And my favorite part of teaching, and this happened at the junior high and high school level too, but when you're really working hard on something and you explain something in a different way and their face goes, that light bulb moment, that's probably the coolest part about teaching, and especially teaching math where a lot of people struggle. And so then it just is the energy and the fun that you can have. I mean, if you're a monotone person that just write things on the board, it's not very engaging for students. And so that's probably how I try and make math the most fun, is trying to engage our students and get them to laugh and get them to have fun in the classroom. And then it doesn't seem like quite as daunting of a task, if you will.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that does. So, Jordan, can you tell us, and maybe in the simple terms probably here, just because if we could spend a half an hour on it easily, but what tell us about the different types of math?
It's a great question. I mean,
Is there a way to do the 1,000-foot view of that?
yeah, I mean, there's kind of branches,
Right.
I guess, if you will. Probably the simplest way to explain that is we have kind of an algebra branch and a geometry branch. We have a statistical branch, and then we kind of have a logical analysis branch.
Okay.
And then you got kind of your theoretical. Those are the giant eggheads that are way smarter than me. we've got them over in the math and science building, the Coyle building, and the theoretical guys way over my head as far as they're just really, really bright. But the things that I teach, I'm more on the algebraic side.
Right.
Mr. Saloon is probably our stats guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Vogel's kind of the theoretical type guy. And then whatever type of math that you have, you can kind of usually break it into one of those categories. Calculus, you can kind of break that down into, there's a lot of algebra. So algebra kind of the building block into calculus, and then there's some trigonometry in there as well. And so you can kind of, if you want to, take a big step back and kind of go, you can probably fit any type of math into one of those branches.
And the key is a good calculator, right?
Key is
Don't we use AI programs for that now?
hold on. You can have a great calculator. You got to know how to use the dang thing, though.
I want one of those calculators that can play Doom. Then I know I'm having a good time in math class.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
See, the one we had, do you guys remember Blockman?
Is that one of the math games, grade school kind of thing?
No, it was
no, I
on
think it's
it was
something
on like the TI-83.
Blockman.
You had to get a cord and plug it into somebody who had it that got it from an older brother that
yeah.
And it was a program on the TI.
Right.
I think it was called Blockman or Block Dude, something like that.
Yeah.
I think I
But
ever got that
it
one
was kind of
transferred
like the
over.
original
Dang.
Mario, where you had to go climb up on things and then you had to move blocks around and
That'd be
get to
fun.
the end. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I bet we could probably
Find an emulator somewhere.
yeah find it somewhere.
We're gonna resurrect
Somebody's
it.
older brother. There's
Somebody's-
probably some TI-83
somebody's
in a
got it.
closet somewhere that has it on there.
Tetris on the TI-83. That could be good too.
I was not a very good math student, hence why I went into English. So what you're talking about right now, TI-83, I have no idea what that is.
You were writing dirty words on the calculator, weren't you? I knew it.
Well, everyone does in sixth grade. Jordan, something near and dear to my heart. You're involved with Blue Key. You serve as a co-advisor of that club with me. But you traveled with a couple students to the national conference this year, something the Blue Key chapter at Chadron State had not done in a long time. So how rewarding was that?
Really, it was a really, really cool opportunity, and I'm glad that I had the chance to do it. Blue Key, for those that don't know, is an honor society. I always thought that it was male-only honor society, but it's a co-ed honor society in the national sense, based on scholarship, leadership, and service. And so being able to be a part of highly driven college students' lives and kind of see how they operate, really, really cool. Now, I mean, if we're talking about Blue Key, the national people, and hopefully this maybe we can clip this and send this to the national people, but the honor society is based off a scholarship, so a bunch of smart people had a national conference in Fargo in January. And so
What could go wrong?
I mean,
they've got a good snow removal service up there. Yeah, I don't think you'd have any issues. As long as your car locks don't freeze shut.
And it was hosted at North Dakota State, and their chapter of Blue Key did a really, really great job of putting events together for us, breakout sessions on those kind of tenets, the scholarship, leadership, and service. The students that I took came back, and we brought some things back with us that we've started doing in our Blue Key chapter. one of them that we stole from North Dakota State was the idea of a passable item, which can be anything from, I mean, we could take this microphone and then they have funny ways of explaining why the person needs a microphone. Okay. So it would be at a Blue Key meeting, whoever was holding the microphone from the last meeting, they would say, okay, Daniel, you talked a lot this meeting, so you get to hold the microphone until the next meeting. And then and they have silly little things. Right. Everything from a giant stick that somebody found, and they said that you get the stick this week because you have a stick up your something.
It was like, don't lose it, bring it to the next one, pass it on.
Yeah. And so we started that. We have a tiki torch. We have an old Blue Key polo that somebody found in the student senate office. What else? What started?
A onesie.
Yeah, what started it is North Dakota State. They kind of learned that everybody thought that this idea of passables was a really cool idea, and so at the conclusion, at the banquet, at the end of the conference, they gave each chapter that was there their own passable to take back to their home districts and home chapters. And so they gave us, because we were the newbies at the conference, they gave us a North Dakota State onesie.
All right.
Baby onesie. And so that's
Doesn't
kind of,
fit.
I've tried it, and it's tight.
That's rough, man.
It's tight. But our chapter passes it on. We give it to a new person. Right. That's how we ended the year, and then they had to keep track of it over the summer. And then if somebody was being a big baby at the meeting, we would give it to them. Yeah. Somebody got it because they have a baby face. And so just kind of fun little ways to kind of keep everybody involved and have some fun and banter with the guys.
Yeah.
So
good times.
That's good. So we had some material from you about coaching earlier here. Where does that passion for sports come from?
You know, it just is kind of, since I was really little, had lots of cousins in Hemingford. In my kind of immediate, I have 8 other first cousins, and I'm one of the youngest, and my brother is the youngest. So we were always kind of going to their stuff and watching them, and then they kind of become your idols. And so always kind of been into it from a young age just because I watched older cousins, probably where it came from. I mean, and then playing in the yard and things like that, and then you get into the organized stuff. And basically anything that was available. If there was little kids wrestling season, we were wrestling. If it was basketball season, we were basketball. If it was baseball, we were baseball. We were playing flag football. We were doing whatever we could activity-wise. And then it just kind of stuck with me all through high school and then into college. And I kind of realized I wasn't gifted with a very large body, so college athletics probably wasn't going to happen for me. I'm a little vertically challenged. Not so much horizontally, but I'm vertically challenged. But I've always just had a passion, and I just love the competition and the athletics and the camaraderie that you have. I mean, going back to coaching, some of my favorite memories, you know, aside from winning state championships, that's going to be on top of everybody's list. But some of the most fun that I had in coaching were like bus rides after we beat somebody that we probably weren't supposed to beat.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
You know, we started this thing where we would howl at the moon on bus rides home, and just late night, and somebody would start, and then the whole bus would be going nuts. And my dad drove the bus, and then he would start honking the horn just down Highway 2 in the middle of nowhere at 11 o'clock at night, and just the whole bus is rowdy, and it's just, those are some really, really great memories.
Yeah. That sounds fun. Plus, you had a really good howl. So I know, just because we're friends, you're interested in barbecuing and grilling. What are some other things that you like to do outside of work? I know you like to play golf. You collect sports memorabilia. Talk a lot about it.
Yeah. The barbecuing, grilling, we got the smoker, the pellet grill, we got the flat top griddle, Yeah, I mean the horizontally challenged thing. That's probably a big reason why. Yeah, golf is high up on my list. Talking about collections, I usually get a golf ball, like a logo ball, from every new place that I play. We have display case in the office at home. I collect NFL mini helmets. I have all 32 teams. There's probably 3 or 4 that need updating that have changed their helmets since I had the whole collection. So need to kind of replace those. And then, travel probably is up on the list. Lisa and I like to kind of take a trip during our downtime in the summer months. May has been a really big travel month for us. We've gone to Phoenix and we've gone to Vegas and go to the mountains in Colorado and go see family. And so that's probably that. We have some bucket list trips that we want to do. We want to go to Kentucky and do the Bourbon Trail and kind of that history and agriculture. And then the other obvious thing with that trail is the bourbon.
Sure.
So that would be one. And so probably travel. I don't know, hanging out with people. Yeah. Whenever I get asked to go hang out with people, I try and make an effort to go. So I don't know, kind of a jack of all trades as far as hobbies are concerned. I've got a garden. I mean, we got lots of stuff.
That's good. Keeps you busy.
Absolutely.
Plenty busy.
That's great. Well, I think we got some hard-hitting, quick questions for you. Very difficult answers. To start with, what's one of your favorite movies?
I'm going to go kind of maybe in not one that is a favorite of a lot of people. I'm going to go Draft Day. Kevin Costner, where he's the GM of the Browns.
Sure.
Vontae Mack, no matter what.
All right.
I don't know why. Nice. Yeah. Those boys didn't go to Bo's birthday party.
Clearly, you've seen it a couple times.
Well, it's kind of a tradition. We usually, right before the NFL draft in the spring, I usually make Lisa watch it, and she's like, "Oh, okay, we'll watch
It's a tradition.
it."
Something I try to do every season when we get into softball, and we're covering that, is I try to watch Major League because I always love that.
I love Major League.
Yeah.
And whenever I get like, oh man, we've done 2 weekends and I haven't watched Major League yet, I got to rectify this situation immediately.
So many classic lines in that one.
Oh yeah,
it's too high. Ball's too high.
I don't know. I got a guy on the other line about some white walls.
Yes, I love that one.
Heavyweights is another one. Talking about, we would make our football kids watch Heavyweights. I don't know if you guys remember Heavyweights. It's Ben Stiller was like this psycho fat camp owner, and
I have seen that.
That one's got some great. They're like, why are we watching the Fat Camp movie again? Because it's football season and we watch it. That's why.
Yeah. Need no other reason.
Yeah, that's all you need to do to have a tradition. All right, brisket or pork?
Done well, brisket is better, in my opinion. But it's not easy to do well. It takes a lot of time and patience, and then having a good cut of meat. Brisket can be pretty challenging, and you can mess it up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So like pork, you can do so much with pork, with pulled pork, and one of my favorite ones to do is pork belly, which is basically like uncut bacon. And then it's
really healthy for you.
Horizontally challenged. Delicious. That's one of my favorite ones to do. With smoke it, and then you put like a glaze on it and get it all.
Making us hungry now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's a tough question. It really is. Let's see. What was some good advice you received as a college student, or perhaps the best advice you received as a college student? I know you had a lot of good teachers, so that's got to be a tough one.
I did, but I don't know. I don't know if this came from a teacher or if it came from just an older student or somebody along the way. It's really easy when you're in college, there's so much going on, and you kind of, the reins are really loose, and you can kind of you have some time on your hands that you can kind of do what you want. But finding a routine and sticking to a routine, especially when it comes to homework and studies and getting that stuff done, I think that was probably the best advice that I got, because it's so easy. It's like, hey, I got class today at 8, 10, and 1, and then from 2 o'clock until whenever.
Oh yeah,
I can do whatever I want. But finding a routine, like, hey, if you need to study in that window in the middle of the day, do that. If you're right after your classes are done in the afternoon, do your homework, get your stuff done that you need to get done for your classes, do that. But probably sticking to a routine is probably what I think is pretty good advice for college students.
Oh yeah, and it continues onward. I imagine it's helpful as you're doing all this doctoral work.
Yeah. Tuesdays are big homework days, and then I have some time in between some classes to get some little stuff done. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't have class until 2, and so those are big homework days for me.
Good. Do you have a favorite book or author?
I've read so many textbooks recently that I haven't really had a chance to read. I kind of dig the sports fiction stories. I know that John Grisham had a couple. One was like Bleachers.
Right.
I think that was John Grisham. He had one that was
sure.
Golf one that was, I think, is like Miracle on the 17th Green, about a guy that it's like Thanksgiving or something, and he just goes out and plays around a golf by himself. Troon McAllister wrote some good golf kind of fiction books, as far as kind of a sleazy guy named Eddie Caminetti. That
what a great name!
Yeah,
it's an all-timer.
He was like a small municipal course driving range hustler, where he would have guys like, hey, I bet you I can hit this 7-iron this direction, or I bet I can hit that outhouse, and it kind of follows him around. I think there's 4 books of that. Rick Riley wrote some golf fiction books, so kind of into those, I guess.
Yeah.
When I can get back to reading,
sure,
a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe
maybe in a year or 2.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you, Jordan. What word comes to mind when you think of Chadron State College?
Just one word?
Yeah, well, it can be 2 words. I mean, Daniel Binkard is 2 words. So.
You took his answer.
Sorry,
Dang it.
I knew the answer.
Yeah, cut. We gotta start over. Family, probably.
Sure, that's a good one.
I think that we're small enough that kind of everybody knows everybody. Good or bad. I mean, part of being in a small community where I grew up, in a small campus like this one, is kind of, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
But that also is good, because you have a lot of people that have your back too. And so that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning, is like, Chadron will get its hooks in you. Yeah. But it's true, because everybody is looking out for you. Everybody has your best interests in mind. They want you to succeed, and that comes from, the administration all the way down to the students. I want students to be successful in my class. Yeah. It's a lot more fun when students are doing well and achieving in my classes. And so I think that most of the teachers want that. And so I think that family word is probably best for Chadron State.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of nice. You walk down the sidewalk and you end up saying hi to 10, 12 different people at any given time.
Well, it's bad, too, because then sometimes it can take you 20 minutes to walk across campus because you stop and talk to people.
No doubt.
And it's kind of bad, too, because if you get in trouble or something,
everybody knows.
Yeah. That was
keep an eye on that police blotter.
that was kind of the Helmbrecht thing. It's like, golly, I just hope that my parents don't know by the time that I get home. Usually they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things about growing up in a small town. There's a few bad, too.
Yeah. Different experience.
Yep.
I had a student in Helmbrecht that the parent thing, I said, hey, you want me to call your mom or you want to go to the principal? Goes, I'll go to the principal, sir.
Good choice. Yeah, that's a wise choice.
Well, Jordan, thanks for coming on to the podcast with us. Good first guest to open this new semester.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to get you back in at some point in the future. We haven't had any repeats yet, but you'd be a good one for a repeat.
Recurring guest.
Yeah.
Come in when you're Dr. Haas.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
yeah. We'll see what's left of you.
Hopefully I won't be so horizontally challenged by then.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.